In an extraordinary twist on Gold Rush Season 15, miner Rick Ness has overcome weeks of adversity to achieve a monumental breakthrough, delivering one of his most impressive gold hauls to date. 5 weeks into the mining season, Rick Ness and his crew found themselves facing an unprecedented challenge: no gold in the bank. Typically, by this point in the season, they would have already secured a few hundred ounces, but this year, the total stood at 0. Adding to the pressure was a looming threat: water license issues jeopardizing their next season. Rick acknowledged the gravity of the situation, stating, "There's a chance I won't have a water license next year, so we have to get as much gold out of the ground as we can, no matter what." The situation worsened when Rick made a costly blunder, accidentally ordering the wrong pump for Monster Red, their crucial wash plant. This misstep not only cost the crew $150,000 but also valuable time. Although Rick managed to return the pump and recover the funds, the delay compounded the mounting pressure. Reflecting on the mistake, Rick vowed, "I don't know how I made that mistake, but I guarantee I'll never do that again." Determined to push forward, Rick devised a risky plan, relocating the 8-inch pump from Rally Valley to power Monster Red. This pump was typically used to remove water from their mining cut, but desperate times called for desperate measures. "We're just going to have to pull that one out and run it now," Rick explained, emphasizing that processing pay dirt was their top priority. The crew quickly set to work, moving and installing the pump. After a few tense moments, the system was up and running. With water flowing, they loaded the first bucket of paid dirt into Monster Red. Optimism was high, but it was short-lived. Ryan, a critical member of Rick's crew, noticed an issue with the screen deck. Uneven water flow across the deck was preventing rocks from being properly washed, causing gold to be lost in the tailings. "All we're doing is wasting gold," Ryan said. To address the problem, he proposed a solution, linking all the spray bars with T-pipes and additional lines to equalize the water pressure. The crew worked swiftly, installing the modifications to Monster Red. The results were immediate and impressive. "That's 100 times better," Ryan exclaimed as the wash plant began operating efficiently, washing 250 yards of paid dirt per hour. For the first time this season, Monster Red was running at full capacity, and the crew banked their first gold of the year. The sense of relief was undeniable. Rick, ever the character, celebrated by hurling a beer at the plant and joking, "It's like the Christmas ships when they start sailing." Despite setbacks, including 0 gold production for weeks and the pump debacle, Rick Ness and his crew proved their resilience. Their quick thinking and determination turned the tide, transforming a dire situation into a hopeful one. While the fight to secure Duncan Creek's gold is far from over, the crew's grit and ingenuity have given them a much-needed win. With Monster Red running smoothly, Rick's gamble has paid off, at least for now. The team's focus now shifts to maintaining momentum as they race against time to secure as much gold as possible before the season's end. After weeks of relentless setbacks, Rick Ness and his crew have finally turned a corner. Monster Red, their iconic wash plant, is operating flawlessly for the first time this season, processing paid dirt from Rally Valley. With this breakthrough, Rick is optimistic about achieving their ambitious goal of 1,500 ounces of gold by season's end. "As long as we stay steady from here on out, we're going to be looking real good at the end of the day," Rick said with confidence. However, the operation at Rally Valley is anything but straightforward. Underground water is flooding the cut, and the team's only pump is tied up supplying water to Monster Red. Meanwhile, operator Bailey Carton is working tirelessly 200 feet deep in the valley, battling against time to excavate paid dirt before the flooding worsens. "That's a lot of water," Bailey noted, struggling to stay ahead of the rising levels. Despite the challenges, Bailey managed to dig to the bottom of the valley and uncovered what appeared to be bedrock. Excited by the discovery, Bailey called Rick for confirmation. "It looks like all bedrock down here," Bailey reported. For Rick, this was a pivotal find. "I've been digging at Rally Valley for 3 years, and if we finally hit bedrock, this could be the richest pay yet," he said. Inspecting the exposed bedrock, Rick was thrilled by the fine gravel lining its rim, a classic indicator of gold-rich dirt. "I've been waiting to see bedrock in this hole, and now we've got it. This is where the good stuff is," Rick declared with excitement. The crew is now determined to chase this pay layer along the cut, believing it could lead to their richest haul yet. For Rick and his team, the discovery holds special significance. They are the first humans to dig this deep into Rally Valley. "That's pretty cool," Rick said proudly, as the crew prepared to mine as much as possible before the valley floods. The true test came when it was time to clean out Monster Red's sluice runs. As the mats were checked, the crew's hard work was rewarded. Large gold nuggets began to appear, some of the biggest they had ever seen. "Look at that beauty!" Rick exclaimed, holding up a thick nugget. The excitement was palpable as the crew celebrated their find. "Some of the nicest nuggets I've ever seen. We're going to have ourselves a golden day," Rick said, his optimism renewed. The discovery was a game changer for the operation. "I knew the gold was there, but until you see it in the box, it's always nerve-wracking," Rick admitted. The breakthrough marked a moment of relief and excitement for the entire crew, who now had tangible proof of Rally Valley's immense potential. Despite the breakthrough, the clock is ticking. The crew must mine as much pay dirt as possible before rising water levels render the valley inaccessible. "It's definitely tough dealing with all this water," Bailey admitted, "but I'm excited to see what's in those mats when we clean out Monster Red." With the richest pay dirt now within reach, Rick is determined to capitalize on the opportunity. "That just goes to show you we're on the good stuff now," he said. "All we've got to do is run the rest of it." For Rick Ness and his team, this is the turning point they've been waiting for all season. With Rally Valley's gold-rich bedrock exposed, they are closer than ever to reaching their ambitious goal. Yet, the pressure remains high as they race against time to harvest as much gold as possible before nature forces them to stop. Rick Ness and his crew have struck gold, literally and figuratively, in what may be the biggest turning point of their season. For the first gold weigh-in of the year, the entire team, including mine manager Jason and gold recovery specialist Heather Folster, gathered to witness the fruits of their labor. After weeks of relentless effort and setbacks, the payoff was finally here, and it did not disappoint. The atmosphere was electric as Rick began the weigh-in, with Bailey assisting him at the scales. The first jar alone revealed an astounding 115.71 ounces of gold. Just as the crew began to celebrate, Rick smiled and unveiled even more gold. By the time all the gold was weighed, the total soared to over 340 ounces, valued at more than $750,000. "This is huge," Rick exclaimed, visibly thrilled. "The biggest haul we've ever had. Imagine sending this through one of those bank teller boxes. And this is just the start. If we keep this up, 1,500 ounces is going to happen fast." The weigh-in marked a milestone for the team, especially given the rocky start to the season. Rally Valley had tested their resolve with flooding and equipment issues, but the rich pay layer at bedrock proved worth the effort. For Rick, this haul was more than just a financial success, it symbolized the resilience and hard work of his tight-knit crew. This gold is the blood, sweat, and tears of 7 people who believed things would turn around, Rick reflected. This is the start of something great. The massive haul has reinvigorated the team's confidence in reaching their ambitious target of 1,500 ounces of gold this season. With the bedrock pay layer exposed and Monster Red running at full capacity, the crew is poised for continued success. The celebration was a moment of unity and joy for the team, a well-earned reward after weeks of grueling work. As the crew toasted their achievement, they knew the road ahead would still be challenging, but the outlook has never been brighter. With Rally Valley yielding some of the richest pay dirt the crew has ever seen, Rick and his team are determined to capitalize on the momentum. The first weigh-in has set a high bar, but it's clear the crew is ready to rise to the challenge. For Rick Ness and his team, this weigh-in wasn't just about the numbers, it was a testament to their belief in each other and their ability to overcome adversity. Now, with gold in the bank and more on the horizon, The season is shaping up to be one for the record books.